In this video, we'll be reviewing the solutions to the Chapter 5 test. So question 1 was a law of exponents problem. Here they were multiplying, so we start with the coefficients. 4 times negative 5 is equal to negative 20. Next, we can do d squared times d to the imaginary 1. When you multiply, you add exponents, so that becomes d to the third power. Then for v, we have v to the negative 4 times v to the negative 2. Again, when you multiply, you add exponents, so that becomes v to the negative 6. We also learned that if you have negative exponents, you rewrite your answer as a fraction, and you move anything with a negative exponent to the denominator to make it positive. Everything else stays on top. So to summarize, when you multiply, you add exponents. And when you have a negative exponent, you move it to the denominator. So here the correct answer was D. Question 2 was a division problem. So when you divide, you actually subtract exponents. So let's start with 24 divided by 3. That's 8. Next, we're going to do w to the imaginary 1 divided by w cubed. When you divide, you subtract exponents, so that's w to the negative 2. And then z to the 7th divided by z to the 5th. That comes out to z squared. Again, you don't want negative exponents, so we're going to rewrite our answer as a fraction, and the term with a negative exponent moves the denominator to become positive. So here the answer was B. Question 3 was an exponent of another exponent. So you would start by giving this 3 to everything. So it becomes negative 2 to the third, b to the negative 2 to the third, and c to the 6 to the third. Negative 2 to the third means you're doing negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2. Which is actually negative 8. And then when you have an exponent of an exponent, you multiply. So negative 2 times 3 would be b to the negative 6. And then 6 times 3 would be 18. Again, we don't want negative exponents, so we're going to write this as a fraction, and the b would move to the denominator to become positive. So that would be answer choice C. This next question was a simple subtraction problem. Now you needed to remember when you subtract, it's like there's an imaginary 1 here. So you actually have to give that out, which if you do negative 1 times anything, it's going to cause the signs to change. So this is going to become negative 4 minus 7w squared. The first parenthesis stays the same. From there, you combine like terms. So we could combine negative 11w squared with negative 7w squared. That'll be negative 18w squared. And then the 6w and the minus 4, we can just bring those down. This next question was a multiplication problem. So here you had to distribute. So I'm going to start with 2x times 3x, which is 6x squared. Next would be 2x times negative 5, which is negative 10x. Then you could distribute negative 3 times 3x, which is negative 9x. And negative 3 times negative 5 would be positive 15. Now we would combine like terms. Here these middle terms are like. Negative 10x minus 9x is negative 19x. Everything else brings down. So that would have been our correct answer. Here in this next problem, we have a division problem. You could have used long division or synthetic, whichever one you prefer. I'm going to use synthetic for this example. So you start by making sure that they skip no terms here. So I have x cubed. Usually after that would be x squared, then x, then your constant, or the number without the variable. Here you'll notice they didn't have an x squared, so we're going to put a 0x squared in its place. Then the minus 15x, then the plus 6. So it's very important that you put this 0 placeholder there. Now I can set up my synthetic division. Here there's an imaginary 1. And my coefficients go in my box. 1, 0, negative 15, and 6. The positive 4 goes on the outside, but you have to change signs. So here it's a negative 4. Then we bring down the first number. Anything we get here, we're going to multiply by the negative 4. So 1 times negative 4 is negative 4. And now we combine. 0 minus 4 is negative 4, then we repeat. Negative 4 times negative 4 is positive 16. Negative 15 plus 16 is 1. 1 times negative 4 is negative 4. And 6 minus 4 is 2. Remember, this final number here is our remainder. So now we're ready to write our final answer. The only thing is, remember, we're dividing x cubed by x. So it's not going to say x cubed, it's going to become x squared. In other words, this exponent goes one lower. So this becomes 1x squared. After x squared would be x, then our constant. Our remainder goes in our answer, so I'm going to put a positive 2, but it's written as a fraction, and whatever we were dividing by goes in the denominator. So C would have been the correct answer. Some of you did it correctly, but you forgot to go down one number in the exponent, so you put B by accident.